Welcome back to LBG Reviews. I am the Legally Blind Gamer. I have an underdeveloped optic nerve, which means that I have serious problems in regards to the quality of my vision. My goal with this channel isn't necessarily to convince people that the importance of accessibility options is. I'm very undereducated, I would say, in regards to that. My only goal with my YouTube channel is to share my experiences playing games with my disability. I recognize that in relation to video games, that the amount of gamers with visual disabilities especially is a stark minority. And in fact, overall, even though, there's a lot of people out there with disabilities of some kind, I recognize the fact that the amount of gamers with disabilities is a stark minority and that there is no technical need for game designers and game developers to put accessibility options in their games. And so as a result, that's why I feel that I don't need to argue for why these accessibility options should be there. Oftentimes there are many games that I play that have no accessibility options for my disability, but I enjoy them all the same because either the game is just well designed or just because I really like that genre of game, and so I decided, okay, I'm gonna buckle down and do this. Since I'm very inexperienced with everything that goes into adding accessibility options into video games, I choose to simply share my experiences with all of you. I hope that my experiences are enough to convince you to stay around, to convince you to like and subscribe, but ultimately, I'm not trying to sway your opinion. I'm simply sharing my experiences. I want people to come to their own opinions on accessibility options for disabled gamers with a small portion of what I share here being in mind. In my last video, I jumped into reviewing Minecraft with the assumption that everybody and their grandmother understood Minecraft, or at least understood the basic concepts to get a grasp of what I was referring to. I realized that that was rather foolish and foolhardy of me. With that in mind, let's review this week's game, which is Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley was released in 2016, made by only a single developer with the online moniker of Concerned Ape. Stardew Valley is a life simulator plus farming simulator heavily inspired by a retro game called Harvest Moon. They share a lot of similarities such as farming, raising animals, growing crops, as well as forming relationships with the local villagers in whatever town each game takes place in. Unlike Stardew Valley, Harvest Moon had its start on the SNES. A lot of articles online share the sentiment of the phrase Harvest Moon walked so Stardew Valley could run. To go over the basic story of Stardew Valley, you start off with a cutscene of your grandfather handing you a letter and telling you to not open it until the weight of society comes crashing down onto your shoulders. Cut forward X how many years, you're working as a corporate drone for a corporation called Joja Corp. You seem to sigh in your desk as you open up your drawer and you finally open up your grandfather's letter. In your grandfather's letter, he tells you that he has left you a small property in the area of Stardew Valley. He tells you that he wants you to take care of it. He wants you to say hi to his old friend Lewis, and that he'll be watching out for you even from above. After the cutscene of you being in a corporate drone, it cuts to a cutscene with you on a bus, and then you arrive in Stardew Valley where a woman named Robin guides you to your new home. After a short discussion about how the property is in shambles, Mayor Lewis comes out of the house as Robin explains that he was hanging back so that way he could get a few things ready before you arrived. After a brief disagreement between Robin and Mayor Lewis, where after Robin calls your house basically a crusty old shack, Mayor Lewis calls her out and tells her that that's pretty rude to say, and he says that she's just trying to convince you to buy the home upgrades that she offers in her shop. After that, they both agree that you're probably pretty tired from your travels, and so you go to bed for the night. When you wake up in the morning, you have 15 parsnip seeds that Mayor Lewis has left at your home for you to get started. From there, the game opens up quite a bit, honestly. You could plant those first 15 parsnip seeds as the game gives you a quest to grow and harvest these parsnip seeds. The game also offers many various mechanics that you can take advantage of throughout the day, such as checking the weather to find out if it'll rain the next day, if it'll be just a nice sunny day. You can also check the fortune teller, will inform you of your luck for the day. Stardew Valley has a very in-depth luck mechanic where, depending on your luck for the day, will influence what things will happen for the day and even what you can achieve for the day. From here, the game also gives you a quest called Introductions, where you have to go meet most of the people in town. And that also introduces you to the relationship system, where each villager has a friendship level with you that you can increase by talking to them each day, giving them a maximum of 2 gifts every week, and also give them an extra gift on their birthday. Stardew Valley, alongside these basic mechanics, really does just open up. From the get-go, you have an axe, a hoe, a scythe, pickaxe, and a watering can, as well as your 15 parsnip seeds. So as a result, there isn't a lot that I can share about Stardew Valley without ruining the experience, really, because Stardew Valley is one of those games where I would say that the magic of it is experiencing it yourself. So if the gameplay here interests you, if it sparks your intrigue, I would strongly encourage you to buy it, because it isn't your typical AAA $60 game. It is very much so a cheap game that is really heartwarming to play. But anyways, some of the other mechanics that you can experience in Stardew Valley is that the game only has 4 months in a year, those being the 4 seasons: spring, summer, fall, and winter. Once winter moves into spring, you begin a new year. From there, I believe it is towards the end of your first spring, you get access to the mines. The mines have 120 levels where you have to explore down 5 levels each time, unlocking an elevator to allow you to get back to that point again. To go over some of the main goals in Stardew Valley, you have the community center, which has 2 functions, really. It gets you in the habit of keeping track of loads of things at once, or could go the alternative route, which is buying a Joja Mart premium membership, at which point you can purchase bundles that will do the same things for you that completing the community center did. However, at the same time, Stardew Valley makes a very clear statement, in my opinion, about big business can hurt a small town and how big business can drive a small town apart. A few other things that you can do in Stardew Valley is on your 2nd or 3rd day, you'll get a letter from a guy named Willie who will give you a fishing rod, and that unlocks the fishing minigame where you have to keep a fish inside a green bar as you try to catch the fish. There's a lot more to Stardew Valley that I'm not going to spoil, because as I mentioned before, a lot of the magic of the game is experiencing it for yourself. What I will say, though, in regards to the relationship system that I mentioned before, is that there are also 12 villagers that you can pursue a relationship with or even pursue marriage with. Those candidates being Emily, Sebastian, Elliot, Abigail, Haley, Shane, Sam, Alex, Harvey, Maru, Penny, Leah. I could go into loads of detail about each character's personality, but again, I would encourage you to play the game to experience their personalities for yourself, because each of them has their own benefits, drawbacks, things you might not like about them, things that you might really love about them. It's just another one of those things where a Stardew Valley playthrough can be your own little experience. But beyond farming, forming relationships, and everything else I've mentioned so far, let's dive into the heart of why I'm even making this video. What accessibility options does Stardew Valley offer, or that it doesn't offer, that I find beneficial, detrimental, or things that I would want changed? As you play Stardew Valley, you can upgrade your tools. For most of the tools, this doesn't mean much, it usually means you can chop trees down faster, break rocks faster, or even water more crops. But in the case of the watering can and the hoe, it changes the amount of tiles in front of you that you can water or till at a time. The problem that I have with this system is at copper level hoe, right? It will till 3 tiles in front of you instead of 1 with the basic hoe. The same is true about the watering can. At a iron hoe, you can till 5 tiles in front of you. At a gold hoe, which you'll see me using more in this video because I feel that the playthrough that I have the most experience with will provide the most intriguing gameplay to watch. At a gold hoe, you can till a 3x3 area in front of you. So 3 tiles directly in front of you, 3 tiles off to your left, 3 tiles off to your right. There is a final level of hoe, which is the iridium hoe. The iridium hoe can till a 6x3 tile area in front of you. So again, a line of 6 in front of you, a line of 6 off to your right, and a line of 6 off to your left. The problem that I have with this system is that you cannot cancel this system easily, especially on controller, without just tilling the land in front of you. I'm aware that you might be able to swap your inventory slot that you're currently using, and then that might be able to cancel out what tool you're about to use. But at the same time, though, I wish that there was a button press that you could hit. Like, oh, I just went to the level of being able to till a 3x3 area in front of me. I don't want the 3x3, I want maybe like the 1x3. And so I would be able to hit B and cancel out of that motion. Stardew Valley is a very pixelated game, as you can see, which is partially to call back as an homage to the fact that it was inspired by Harvest Moon and many games on the SNES. As a result, a lot of text on screen is very pixelated, and for people with visual impairments such as myself, that can be hard to read. I've gotten very used to it, and so I can read pretty much everything on screen, and I can also usually tell via context clues what a character is saying, but at the same time, though, it can be quite hard to read. Especially, the game makes it a very key point to keep track of how much money you have, and so as a result, I find it very difficult sometimes to tell exactly how much money I have. Thankfully, the pause screen does have some finer tuned pixelated text compared to the counter that you see off in the top right there. However, it would still be nicer if I could make the text smoother just to make it easier to read. One other thing that I would consider that'd be nice to have in Stardew Valley is, and this isn't necessarily an accessibility thing, it's just more of a personal awareness thing, is villagers will have special cutscenes and events with you depending on how many levels of friendship you have. If you're at 2 hearts of friendship, some villagers will have a cutscene that will play out. Some of them have a cutscene at 4. I think there's a villager that even has a cutscene at 6. I wish that the game would inform you of when those cutscenes would take place, so that way you could be more aware of it. Like, don't spoil the other conditions that are needed. Like, I know some hard events need certain weather conditions, certain days of the week, certain times that you need to enter them. I would just like to know, hey, Emily's got a 2 heart event. So that way when I reach 2 hearts with Emily, I can know, okay, I just have to figure out the conditions that the event will take place in. The only other accessibility option that I would want for Stardew Valley, and this isn't even really an accessibility option that I would necessarily make use of, would be a simplified combat system. Stardew has a lot of combat mechanics. You've got swords that do a large sweeping motion in front of you. You've got daggers that only attack the tile in front of you, that also have a 3-hit combo. You'll have hammers that, again, if I recall correctly, only hit the tile in front of you, but deal a lot more damage. And there are rings that can improve your stats, but I wish that there was a way to simplify combat down so that way, for people with motor skill issues, or even if you just want to chill out and play Stardew Valley, but you realize that you need to go into a situation that could involve combat, I wish that you could simplify the combat down in those situations. If I had to give Stardew Valley a rating like I did with Minecraft last week, I would give Stardew Valley a 9 out of 10. Stardew Valley is simple to play, easy to pick up, and is very forgiving. However, the things that I've outlined previously keep it from being a perfect 10 out of 10 for me. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please be sure to like, share, ring the bell, and subscribe if you haven't already. Tune in next week when we review It Takes Two, a charming game about relationships, cooperation, as well as an intriguing situation where I'm not the one that needs the accessibility options, but my mother does. See you guys next week.